And then once I saw that he was just standing there trying to act emotional while the music played and posing like a model
Did you say trying to act emotional? He was emotional. You know, since he moved into the stadium at 8 p.m. when you first hopped in, he was probably still setting up his bedroom. He wanted to make sure that after the live stream, he came home and, you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have locked into Rap Life. We're going to talk to Low Key. We're going to talk to Nadeska. What are the most important conversations that are going on in hip-hop right now, as well as run through some of the hottest songs on the playlist. So y'all keep it locked right here. This is Rap Life. Let's start, though, with Rolling Loud before we get into Kanye West. All right, so a lot of new music was premiered.
Right.
Seems like mostly people had a good time. But coming out of the whole weekend, it feels like DaBaby's performance is the one that really caused some problems.
Mm-hmm.
Not only for himself, but for, you know, the hip-hop culture pundits upon the internets when he brought out Megan Thee Stallion, then brought out his mascot, which is like, you know, looks like a mascot, and then said mascot costume was Tory Lanez. So he had Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez on the stage. People lost their shit. Somebody threw a shoe at him.
I didn't know someone threw a shoe at him. That's crazy. So the last time,
I definitely saw that.
Wait, where'd the shoe hit him? Not in the face or anything, right?
No, he
ducked it. He dodged it. And by the way, the shoe throwing may have had something to do with the next piece of DaBaby's performance that we got to talk about.
Yeah, there was a lot
more than the Megan Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez thing, but we'll get into that.
All right, man. I thought his headlines, the you know, the quote unquote homophobic headlines were gonna be bad, but this might actually be worse. Goodness.
I don't know. Tory just released his the 5 capsule or whatever the he just dropped on Friday. The EP. We outside again or whatever it was. So I guess that makes sense why he was there. But you already know how I feel about. You already know how I feel about
Does
him,
DaBaby need this kind of attention right now? Like, his music is always doing fine. I don't understand why I go to these extremes.
The bringing out Tory Lanez and the mascot, and that's right after Megan Thee Stallion said at Rolling Loud. Is that a shot at Megan Thee Stallion? Or is that just, look, DaBaby's made his move, like I'm riding with my guy?
Does anyone have any further insight on how deep this relationship with DaBaby and Tory Lanez is? Because I thought him and Megan had a better rapport. At least it seemed like it on collaborations. Like, what's the backstory with him and Tory? Because that's what I really need to know. Have they been friends for years and we didn't know about that? Because if not, if they just have this collaboration and he felt the need to bring him out at this point, it just seems a little bit low, but I can't be in DaBaby's mind.
That seems like a jab. It seems disrespectful. You know your set lineup. You know who's coming before you. You know who's going after you.
But as we've said on this program, and it's universally understood in amongst us pundits and podcasters and hosts in media, everything's a rollout. And so maybe DaBaby sees more coverage and marketing upside in this sort of chaos.
What does that do for you as an artist? What does that do? What does that do for you as a man, right? So you've had this exchange with Megan on social media a couple weeks ago, right? You've had this back and forth, and now you do this. So now we're on one of the biggest festivals in hip-hop. It's a huge stage. Everyone is down there. Now all eyes are on you. And we know how you feel about Megan. We know how you feel about Tory. So now you're doing, like, you know, the Tory mascot, and then now you're going after Megan and bringing Tory out. You already know that situation is very volatile. It's very, very, very sensitive. What does that say about you and your character by doing that in front of the world?
It says that you don't give a about nobody else's feelings. I only give a about myself and what I'm promoting and what I don't give a about nobody else.
But
how insensitive does that look? How insensitive?
I don't expect,
exactly what I said.
I don't expect rappers to be sensitive, right? This is business after all. But even if you're looking at it from a business standpoint, Tory had all this heat on him last year. And if you're looking at numbers, I don't have the streaming numbers off the top of my head, but I feel like I remember looking at some point last year. Megan streams very well. I'm pretty sure she puts up better numbers than Tory She has a very strong female audience that I'm sure DaBaby would love to tap into. Just even look at it from a business standpoint, I don't see how this makes sense for him numbers wise. Wouldn't it have been a doper moment if he did reach out to Megan behind the scenes and they figured this out and they performed together at Rolling Loud since she was already there? That would have been a moment, and we would have talked about it too. There would have been clips floating around. He probably would have gotten like a boost in his sales. I just don't really understand logically this move.
Then yesterday, a clip of DaBaby trying to get the crowd into it. You know how people be like, all the women who, vaginas don't stink, put your hands in the air. And all the dudes who got more than $200 in your pocket, put your hands in the air, and et cetera, et cetera. DaBaby thought it was a good idea to say something to the effect of, if you don't have HIV or any of those diseases that kill you, put your hands in the air. And dudes who wasn't sucking in the parking lot, put your hands in the air. So that was like a planned, thought out comment.
I don't have nothing for that. Like I saw the clip. I reevaluated the clip. I tried to make sense of the clip. And at the end of the day, it's just like this man is not in the company of people who are, just like-minded individuals who understand, like, hey, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't say that, this is not a good move. He's about to put out a new album. I just don't get it.
I can tell you what T.I. said. So he got in the comments on Shade Room. This I don't understand. Mind you, I understand that sometimes we can be a little bit oversensitive. Like I remember people trying to cancel Dave Chappelle a couple years ago. Like, get the fuck out of here. Sorry guys, you could bleep me for that. We're never not once talking seriously about canceling Dave Chappelle. Like we have to know where there's like humor sometimes. But T.I.'s defense was if Lil Nas X can kick his piece, so should DaBaby. And then he threw in the hashtag equality. I'm not really sure what the equality hashtag has to do with just like a blatantly ignorant comment this.
So now we're talking about intellect level and comprehension level.
Which clearly T.I. doesn't have on this issue.
Right, or he didn't actually hear what DaBaby had to say. Because what DaBaby said was actually hurtful to people who might have HIV. Mm-hmm. But you also got to remember, DaBaby went on to say, look, my gay fans put their hands in the air. My gay fans knew I wasn't talking about them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about them dirty. And he went on to make it worse.
People go out and choose to contract something like that. That's always the thing that I don't understand. This is what I want to go out and do today. I never really understand that.
So there's I think a comprehension level and a nuance in the lack of understanding of what took place, right? No one is, when you're talking about equality, Lil Nas X isn't hurting anyone by telling his truth, showing his truth, and telling his story. Right. He's not saying disparaging comments about people who don't identify with his lifestyle. You see what I'm saying? DaBaby said disparaging comments about people. Hurtful comments about people. Right. Thus the difference. Now, nobody's taking, and this is another thing that I think we got to clear up, like this whole like freedom of speech, and he could say what he wants to say. He sure can. He absolutely sure can. No one is taking, DaBaby's not going to jail. The police are not showing up to DaBaby's house for his comments, nor T.I.'s house for his comments. You can say whatever you want to say. So can the people whom you've hurt, and so can the people who love the people that you hurt, and so can the people who just think you're idiot, who decide that, we don't want to participate in your shenanigans or associate with someone who thinks like you, which then can hurt your ticket sales, your ability to get features with corporations, and these other things that help you make money.
Well, that's why I don't understand why people try to give Lil Nas hell. He raises a lot of controversy, but it's like harmless, and he's being himself and he's pushing things forward. And I read that like profits he's raising, he's donating to the Bail Project. So they're like a nonprofit that combats mass incarceration. So I just think that sometimes like we waste our energies being outraged in the wrong place. I don't think Lil Nas X is the one that we should be mad at for anything. But
Why would we be mad at Lil Nas X?
I'm not mad at him. I love him.
Where did you hear that?
I'm not saying us. I'm not saying us. You know, people. The people are. Some people are upset about.
Well, I'm
him,
gonna tell you who. I'm gonna tell you who was really upset with Lil Nas X.
Who?
Jack Harlow.
Jack Harlow. Yep.
No, he wasn't.
Because Lil Nas X. Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't.
Lil Nas X did not invite him to be in the shower scene in the video, and Lil Nas X apologized. He apologized after not asking Jack Harlow to be in the Industry Baby shower scene in the music video.
Man.
And Jack Harlow opened up on Twitter about how Lil Nas X brought up the idea of the video to him and how if he had asked me to be in the shower scene, I would have been in that shower scene.
Shout out to Jack Harlow. See, this is the kind of energy we need in rap. Men who are not afraid of their sexuality. That he would be open to doing that is amazing. And I would have actually loved to see it. You should drop a second version.
Whether it was a planned exchange on Twitter, whether it was organic, whatever the case was, I like how they both played it. I like how they both just leaned in on it. And that's how I can understand these two actually get each other. And it's fun to watch them. The video was dope for what it was. The song is dope for what it was. But I understand, because Jack Harlow has that kind of like, humor. And Lil Nas X is like hilarious. So those two together, that makes sense. So whether it was planned or organic, I get it. And I'm not mad at it. And I love it. And I want to see more of that kind of situations with anyone who collaborates with Lil Nas X.
Kanye West. I mean, first and foremost, we should all, slap ourselves for thinking that this 10th studio album, Donda, was going to come on time.
Did we think
at
that
the time that we were told?
Yeah, I don't know if we really thought that.
Yeah, no one thought that.
We were very skeptical here. But were you guys one of the 3.3 million people who watched him live stream a half-finished maybe album, if we want to call it that, last week?
I didn't know. I didn't stream it.
I watched. I'm going to tell y'all, I actually only showed up at 8 p.m. to see if it would start on time.
Knowing that it wouldn't, so you could have an excuse, just so you could be like, I tried, I'm out of here.
Ebro,
Hoping that it would. Stop. And then I wanted to see what our Apple team, our Apple Live Events team, how they were going to manage this very rushed live stream that shout to our team for making it happen down in Atlanta. And our team, I was, as somebody who, works at Apple, I was like, yo, what they gonna do? I wanted to see it all. Like, I was there when I was tuned in when they opened up the ceiling, you know what I mean? Because the football stadium ceiling opens up, and so they showed the ceiling opening up and people filing into their seats. I saw that. Then I left. Then I saw on Twitter that it actually started, so then I came back. And I was like, all right, let me see what this actually is. And like, what's he dressed like, et cetera, et cetera. Because in my mind, this was mostly about clothes and fashion. Right? Like this was a visual artist. I didn't really expect much from the music. I knew that it would kind of sound unfinished because that's what we've been getting from Kanye West for the last several projects, is this kind of like demo-esque, looking for a new sound kind of energy. And then once I saw that he was just standing there trying to act emotional while the music played and posing like a model in his
trying to act emotional jacket. He was emotional. Since he moved into the stadium at 8 p.m. when you first hopped in, he was probably still setting up his bedroom. He wanted to make sure that after the live stream, he came home and, So
for the audience, hang on. For the audience, for the audience, there has been word that Kanye West is living at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. As of Monday morning, he was still wearing the same clothes. They had other events at the stadium, and Kanye was like walking around the arena, took some photos with people, and people were like, yo, he's going to stay there until the album gets done. I don't know if that's actually true. We're going to see.
Sounds true.
But I do want to point out there was something very emotional about the album stream. It was very powerful to hear Kanye's mom, which are interludes in the album. In the Donda album is Kanye's mom, Donda, talking about Kanye, just talking. And she's obviously a professor and very educated and well-spoken, and that was very powerful.
To me, Kanye really hasn't dealt with, the passing of his mother. So a lot of these things that we're seeing, we're hearing, and seeing unfold are, I think, situations of his mom. And I think maybe this album may be a culmination of that. Maybe, you know, just addressing his mom or acknowledging his mom or whatever the case is, being that the album is named after his mom. So I'm going to go into this project listening with a different ear because of, you know, my mother passing a year and a half ago. I can find some similarities between me and him. Maybe he's just trying to unleash or try to like just unpack a lot of shit that he hasn't been able to unpack in the last maybe 2, 3, 4, 4 years.
To your point, Lo, I hope that's the case. I do hope I don't know at this point. That is a very personal project because we've been watching him sort of go through all this chaos publicly. I want to know what's like really, really going on with him and hear him process his feelings. So there's a song on there. I don't know if the title, I wrote this down, Losing My Family or Welcome to My Life, maybe, where he's also talking about, you know, the breakup with Kim and the things he's going through. That's what I really want to hear from him. But I guess what I'm still on the fence about is, so Jermaine Dupri jumped out to defend him. You know, for people who were upset that the album didn't come on time, that he did the live stream and said, he's saying, I don't feel like a lot of you guys understood what Kanye did because people don't have listening parties much in this era, which is not true. But he's saying basically you're supposed to play the music.
Parties all the time.
All the time, like too many listening parties. I'd be sick of them. But he's saying you play the music, you gauge your reactions, and you prioritize and fix from there. That's like a real A&R thing. But if this is such a personal album from Kanye, I don't feel like he needs to crowdsource the reactions to go back and fix it. I want to hear like what you've been going through, what you have to say. You're an incredible producer. There are a lot of people around you who can help, who can contribute. He has a lot of great features. I just, for such a personal album, I don't understand why he needed the validation, I guess, of having a big live stream, then to go back and tinker with the album. But that's just personally how I feel.
Well, I don't think he's tinkering. I don't think it was done. Finishing, let's say, I think we said this last week, finishing a song, like a song being all the way done, a complete thought, is something that is a part of talent, right? Like for people who make music or make any piece of art, you know, if you don't know your destination, it's hard to know when you're finished. And so that's why I keep using the term Kanye searching for a sound. He's searching for something that the music isn't providing him. And that's why we're getting this visual artist of fashion and these other things that he can complete, right? He's also, you know, the people who used to help him finish projects are no longer around him because they, for whatever reason, can't move at his timing and the beat of his drum because they have other things they want to prioritize.
I just don't understand how this helps him to complete the album. I'm looking forward to complete albums from Travis Scott and from Young Thug because it feels like we're getting closer to those. And all of this drama, they both premiered new music at Rolling Loud. And then Thug, he just did, I think, NPR Tiny Desk. 4 new songs. He even gave a release date. It's coming middle of October. It's been 3 years since Travis dropped Astro World. I'm really looking forward to that. So those are 2 complete projects I'm looking forward to.
You hope. Because Travis Scott has been gone, like you said, 3 years. A note to my boy Travis Scott. You can't be gone that long, sir. A lot of people have co-opted your style. And you're great at it. But a 3-year hiatus for an artist like yourself, when people can co-opt your style, you got to be careful. So when you show up, you better show up.
Well, he says he's showing up with a psychedelic rock album. So I don't know if he's trying to keep that old sound, although he did have some tinges of that like psychedelia. But maybe to your point, he's trying to go the other direction now and see if they can still co-opt that sound.
I'm not looking for a psychedelic rock album from Travis
Okay, I'm looking forward to the psychedelic part, though.
But are you even a Travis Scott fan? Like, are you even a core Travis Scott?
No, I am. I definitely am. But I know what he's good at. I know he's good at the rager, the enthusiastic, you know, the aggressive, abrasive music. I know that's what he's good for. I'm not looking for him to be a lyrical giant. Like, I'm not looking for verse of the year from him. But I know that energy is different. That energy is bar none what he does the best. And that music, when it comes in through him, that's a different artist. And not too many artists, if any, can tap into the energy that man has. I don't see anybody being
so let's see.
a performer like him. I don't see anybody delivering
Maybe Travis's strategy for being gone so long was, okay, all these people are trying to sound and be like me.
Right.
I'm gonna let y'all see the difference. So go ahead and enjoy these knockoffs. And then when I pull up, you're gonna see the difference. Maybe that's the strategy. So
yep.
more power to you, Travis.
I'm tuned in.
And I'm curious where Thug goes after So Much Fun with a title like Punk. I'm also assuming he's gonna be. Remember when he did? Was it like Beautiful Thugger Girls? He had like his sort of like little rock phase. I don't know if you guys got to see Travis and Young Thug when they did the rodeo tour. This feels like a lifetime ago at this point. I would love if they dropped these albums. They could be as experimental as they want, and they went on tour together. I would actually leave the house for that.
And that's the Rap Life Review. Make sure you subscribe. You know what I'm saying? We will be here every week. Make sure you add the playlist so you can get all the updates on the Rap Life playlist. For Nadeska and Low, I am Ebro. We'll see y'all next week.